Well, I'm wondering if today is going to be one of those days because I have just sat down and recorded at least 10 minutes of this podcast. And guess what? I hadn't pressed record. Oh dear. Hello and welcome if you haven't been here before. My name is Marie and this is my yarn journey. And yeah, that's kind of thrown me off a bit really. I was getting into the swing of things, telling you all about what I've been knitting on, and then realised I hadn't put Do Not Disturb on, so I got up to sort that out. And then I realised I wasn't even recording, which I really hope I am doing at this point, fingers crossed. Anyways, I am wearing a finished object, and if you watched last week's video, you will have seen that I'd finished this last week, and I will show you it as best I can. This is the Avenue Tea by Tori Yu, and I've knit this with a My Creative Garage sock yarn. This is the colourway Sequin, and I have thoroughly enjoyed knitting this pattern. I found it very easy to follow, knit up lovely, and I feel the fit is great. Apart from one little thing, and this may be something that I've done in knitting the neckline, I don't know, or my pickup rate or something like that. I don't know if you can see properly, but on this side of the neckline, it's bunching up here. Now, there's a few things that could contribute to that, but I keep feeling like doing this, and when I pull it down or flatten it out, it does actually help. I'm hoping you have some ideas of why it would be doing this. But one of the things that could be a contributing factor is we've started doing walks. This is the second time I've worn this. And I put it on the other morning and we went out on our walk and it was raining, and I pulled on my raincoat over the top, which is quite snug on me. And I think that it bunched the fabric up like this. So I don't know if it's made it stop that way. Another thing is in the neckline here, I don't know if you can see, but my centre stitch there has gone a bit wonky. And I think when I first started knitting that section, I was reading the instructions wrong. And it's left it like that, so that I'm thinking I could first of all try and reblock this. It did grow actually, because I was a little bit worried about the length. I've not tried it on, to be fair, with those lilac pants yet, but because the weather's just been terrible here, like I say, with me having to wear my rain mac, it's been warmer, then cooler, then raining, and like sunshine in between. Very unpredictable. So I've been wearing long pants and socks of all things. Can you believe that, in June? But yeah, so I haven't been able to wear them lilac pants because really I just wear the 3/4 length. They're loose, they're very, very cool trousers, and I wear them with sandals really, and it's not really been sandal weather. Hopefully that will change again in the next few days, hopefully. But yeah, it grew a lot more than I was expecting, because this was a yarn that was frogged and repurposed into this top. The original top that I made, I just wasn't happy with the fit on me. What I would say about this pattern is it's probably more suited to a tonal rather than a hand dyed, just because the top section is knitted quite flat. I alternated skeins, which has helped with this yarn, and then I did some helical knitting. Another thing I did notice, which unless you look up close you can't really tell, and I may be able to, again, if I block this again, tweak this, is when I was doing the helical knitting, I have a tension issue on the point where I am, what do I think it is now? I think it's where I am dropping the yarn and then slipping the stitches. And I've got like all my stitches are looking nice and even, and then I've got a big loop where that one is. So, and it was very noticeable when the top was being blocked, but it doesn't seem to be as bad when I'm wearing it, but there's a definite like line like that going up it. So I'll probably try blocking it again, see if that helps. If not, with that, I'm probably going to have to tweak it at the back somehow, but I don't want it to show on the fabric. So what I am trying to do with all my knitting at the moment is trying to, because I sound like I'm being very critical, but the reason for that is I'm trying to get to a point where the garments that I make are finished as good as I can possibly get them, and they are pieces that I love in my wardrobe and they fit me really well. And by looking at this that I've knit this time, and if I go to knit it again, I'll know the things that I want to improve. But like I say, because this is knit primarily for quite a way, it is knit flat at the top, and then you get a big circumference when you come to this point. You can end up where if you're using a hand dyed, then it is noticeably different in how the yarn is coming together in the top section and the bottom. So probably it's better for a tonal or a solid colour. And I think that's everything I wanted to say. I have got that in my creative bag, which you've seen lots of times before. Absolutely love Vanessa's bags. She is an Australian dyer and bag maker. Highly recommend for anyone in the UK ordering from her. Although the shipping is costly, in my opinion, it is worth every penny, and the exchange rate is pretty good. So yeah, definitely worth it. At the moment I'm just in talks with Vanessa because she has brought out a fantastic colourway that is perfection in my opinion, which is a beautiful lilac and blue. And it's as if she's just jumped into my head and created me the perfect yarn. So I'm ordering enough to make a t-shirt from her, and she's kind enough to say that she will put some aside for me and send it my way, which I'm very excited about. She's also shown me a lovely colourway which is called Cherry Blossom, which I really like. Beautiful. So I might get some of that for socks, but I've not decided whether to go for a sparkle or for the one without the sparkle. I have another sparkle yarn that I got from Vanessa last time I ordered, and it's beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. All her stuff is, to be fair. She does a lot of colourways I like. And yeah, she's getting ready for the Bengali, I don't know if it's the Bengali wool show. I know it's called Bengali, if I'm pronouncing that right. So she's in the prep of that. I'm also going to be getting a new project bag. These are made to last, so you know, I don't really need one, but she does such good pairings with fabrics and colours, and they're just made so well. They last so long. So I'm so excited to get another one to add to my collection, because hers are the ones that I reach for time and time again. And great for taking out and about because they are so sturdy. I mean, you could use this, it's so big. You can put your project in, you could put 2 projects in. There's lots of pockets, you know, and it's very easy to carry about with the, you know, look at that lovely leather strap. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll put Vanessa's website in the description and go and have a look. I'm sure that once she's done the show that she's going to, she will put whatever stock's remaining onto the website. So it might be worth looking after she's done the show. So I went on a bit of a side tangent there about the bag that I'm keeping the project in, but I've got 3 whips to talk to you about today. And I've actually got some acquisitions to show you, which I'm very excited that they came this week. So the main project that I was working on last weekend is I say main project, it wasn't really my main project, but I did quite a bit of work on this, and I've continued with my beginner knitting videos, and this is the No Frills by Petiteknit, and I'm knitting this in Drops Lima, which is 65% wool and 35% alpaca, lovely soft yarn. And so far so good. I really like it. The knitting experience is very good. It's a DK weight. It's being knit up at a relative, not dense, but it's not an open gauge either. So it's a lovely, nice to knit. Enjoying the process. Pretty straightforward. It's a basic Bagland sweater. And if you've seen on my channel, I am doing some beginner knitting videos, and I'm halfway through my first sleeve now, so I have started on that last part of the video. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, but I did do quite a lot on that sleeve in one day, and my hand was quite sore after I'd done that. So apologies if this video seems to be a little bit all over the place, but I don't know, I've been very thrown off in this video by not recording when I was supposed to be recording and all that, so I've lost a bit of my train of thought of what I was saying. Anyway, so that was my first whip, which I did quite a bit of work on. I've started the beginner knitting videos, and yeah, like I say, it's a very easy knit, very enjoyable knit. And oh, I did want to say as well, thank you so much, you know who you are, to a wonderful viewer who put a lovely long comment on one of my beginner knitting videos. It really meant the world to me what you said. It was wonderful. It's nice to know that the videos are helpful, because that's the reason I'm doing them. And she was kind enough to send me a coffee through Ko-fi. So thank you very much for doing that. I really do appreciate your kind words and your support for the channel. And I just wanted to mention it on here. So I don't actually know if you watch my podcast. I know you've been watching the beginner videos. So fingers crossed you'll see this video and then you'll know that I've said thank you to you on here. I don't want to mention any names because not everybody wants to be named. Okay, so the next project that I am going to show you is in this lovely woolly tangle bag. Love this fabric. And can anyone guess what's in here? Can we remember? And I think I did this last weekend, but I seem to be very forgetful of when I've done what, but I thought I'd show you this anyway, just in case. And this is the second sock. I've done the first sock, as you can see. It's a vanilla sock. And this is a Giddy Yarns sock set. And it was from her Matilda collection. And this colourway is called Miss Honey. And I just fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. And just let me check. Yeah, Giddy Yarns is 75% merino and 25% nylon. Like I say, I'm just working my way through the second sock. I have now switched to the other needle size because what I decided to do, so I've knit this first sock, and the first sock I did 68 stitches, and I did these on a 2.5, I think it was. And then what I found was, sorry, putting it away, the leg a little bit loose, and across the foot here a little bit tight, because I was thinking a 68 stitch was going to be the perfect recipe for me, a bit in between a medium and large on the Summerly basic sock pattern, which is what I'm using for this, well, basic sock recipe. It's the one she has in her book, The Sock Project, which I have. And I've also got a copy of it from doing the colourwork cuff, and it's on my iPad, so it's just handy to refer to. And so what I decided to do with this, and I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I decided to go back to doing the 72 because that's the one she recommends for me, is the 72 stitch sock. And she so that's what I went back to. But then I thought what I'll do is for the leg section here, I would use a smaller needle size. So I did a 2.25 to just tighten it up slightly. And then as soon as I got to doing the heel flap, I went on to a 2.5. And I knit my socks, if you haven't been here before, I do knit my socks on 9-inch circulars. Just find that the very easiest. I can do my heel and everything. And to be fair, because I don't decrease down to a very, very small number of stitches, I normally can manage to do my toe on them as well, you know, rather than having to swap to magic loop. So yeah, it'll be interesting to try this on, get an idea of the fit. Because what I was worried about is that to get the right fit for me, I didn't want to, because ideally what I would do is I'd do a 60, probably do a 64 on my leg because I've got quite a narrow ankle. And then I would do the 72 for the foot. But that's not going to work if I want to do a patterned sock. So that's why on this occasion I am trying the needle size change just to see if that gives me just slightly better fit. And you know, there's nothing wrong with the first sock. It's still going to be usable and it still fits me. But the whole point of knitting my own socks or my own garments is to try and perfect them each time, improving, making the fit better and getting garments that I absolutely love. So I thought, you know, all I'm trying to do with each project is get better, improve my skills and tweak them each time. So the last project that I'm going to show you is spilling out of its bag at the moment. And this is a bag from Tea, Cake and Makes. Again, another bags that I absolutely love for totally different reasons. These are very sturdy, strong, thick fabrics, durable bags. These ones are really nice, lightweight, easy to pick up, put down, easy to chuck in my basket next to my thing. And I absolutely adore the sock one that I have with the flowers on. I use that all the time. And in here is a whip that was hibernating. Now, some of you may not have seen this if you're relatively new to the channel. And this is very hard to show, but it is the Midland Cardigan. And that is by Laura Penrose. I had my eye on this cardigan from the very first time I saw her show it, and it took her a while to bring it out because it's quite an unusual construction. Now it does look quite large, but I have tried it on. I think it's going to be a lovely cozy, bit oversized on me cardigan. This yarn that I am using, and let me see if I've got a tag in here. Oh, I have, luckily, because I can never remember what this is. And it's John Arbon Textiles. And it's the Apple Door DK. And this colourway is Quench. And if you can see, and what I'll do is I'll hold the sleeve up here. I hope you can see that, and I hope it's focusing. It is a neutral beige yarn with blue, pink and yellow strands spun in. And it is 40% Devon close wool, 40% Romney and 20% Exmoor Blueface. Now, I find this yarn, for me, very rustic, quite a bit scratchy. Originally, I knit this yarn into the Salty Days by I can't say it. No. You'll know who I mean. The Salty Days is very popular, and I'll probably put the name up on the screen for you. And why can't I can't say her channel name, but I can, and her name slipped my mind now. I'm going to have to get my iPad. Sorry for the crinkling. Scared the dog half to death then as well. I'm going to look now because it's going to bug me. So. Vinny! Sorry, there's someone at the door now. Seems as though today I think I've chose the wrong time to record. Someone wondering if their parcel had been delivered here, but it's not. Okay, what was I saying about this? Oh yes, this yarn was made into the Salty Days, and I was looking on my iPad, wasn't I, to find out what the designer's name was. It's Veronica Lindberg. It's come to me now. Yeah, Veronica Lindberg. And that, by the way, is a fantastic beginner pattern, the Salty Days. It's very easy to knit up. It looks much more complicated than it is. And her patterns are fantastic. I've made the stripe pipe. I've made a few of her patterns now. They're very easy to understand. A lot of her patterns as well, and the Salty Days is one of those. She has follow along videos on her channel. So if you want to try something that's the next step up from the basic sweater, something with a bit of texture and a bit of design, I would recommend that for sure. The only thing that was wrong, well, there's two things that was wrong with my Salty Days, and the reason I frogged it is I think I made the wrong yarn choice for me for that sweater, because I found this very, very itchy against my skin, and because I'd made the sweater, I really should have made it the next size up for my tension and my thing. But again, I was still in that journey of learning about being a tighter knitter and checking my gauge and all those sorts of things, which I'm still on a journey with, but it just wasn't right for me. So I wanted to be mindful of not just having things sat in my wardrobe that I'm not going to wear. I knew it looked too tight. It was too hugging on my belly, which I didn't like. So I frogged it. I possibly will make that again, who knows. Maybe not, because it is a little bit open for my liking as well, after making it once. And when I have a lovely sweater that I'm going to be wearing for winter, I do like it to be, even though I like lacy designs, not to be having to wear something under it. But that's another tangent, isn't it? So basically, that was all to say. I frogged that. I'm making it into the Midland Cardigan, which actually the Midland Cardigan, the suggested yarn is this yarn, thinking that making this into a cardigan, I would always probably be wearing something under it anyway. So it would be more practical for me as a garment. And there's one thing to say about this, and that is I've realised that I struggle knitting with frogged yarn because it just looks so scruffy. Even this one did. Now it has improved a heck of a lot, but it's still a bit uneven compared to what my normal texture would be. So I did see something, I don't know if it was on a short on YouTube or something like that, where when they'd done frogged a garment, they then did something where they put it through the steam hole in a pan and wound it through that, and the steam straightened out the yarn. So for me going forward, that might be something to do, whether if I have to frog something. Hopefully I'm not going to have to frog as many things going forward as I perfect my knitting. Who knows? But would I go to that full effort of doing that? But it might just mean that you end up with a better looking garment, because yeah, I don't think this is going to matter, but it is what put this into hibernation, was the fact that it's just looking quite, and I know garter stitch can look like that anyway, but yeah, just a little bit more. If you compare the sections where this is actually, because I had to buy an extra skein of yarn for this, so when you look at the sleeve, which is what I've started on, well, I've finished the bottom ribbing. I was about halfway through that, and I've done a Italian bind off, and then I have picked up for the first sleeve. So I'm very close with this, really. I know I've got to do a double knit button band, which I think is going to be the thing that makes this garment, you know, really look polished and nice. But yeah, I've not got much to do. And I don't think there's much else that I want to say about this. I'm enjoying being back knitting with it. Quite straightforward, just on a sleeve, like I say, and you know, the rows go fast. There are only a few stitches on there. But yeah, the bits where I am actually knitting with the new yarn, you can definitely see a big difference in how even the stitches look, whereas they look quite scruffy in the other sections. Hopefully, again, the blocking will do its magic and neaten all that up for me. I did have to stitch the sides up, and that's not gone too horrendously. It looks okay. And yeah, so just finish this sleeve, one more sleeve, and then do the bit. I just hope that it's not too big now, because it does look, but I get the feeling it's going to be quite a cozy cardigan. And this would be, if I get this finished and don't put it back in hibernation again, it will actually be my first finished cardigan, so that would be quite nice. I'm not sure, actually. I can't remember. I have bought some buttons, but I think I bought them because I was doing the Calm Down cardigan. So there's two other cardigans that I have been knitting. So I was doing the Calm Down cardigan. That's now been frogged, thanks to Mum. And so I've got that stunning yarn to use. And I have seen the Pearl Sweater. And that's the potential for me using that yarn. But what I will do before I start knitting it and do all that, I will definitely do a swatch, because that yarn is very, very luxurious, but it's very drapey yarn, and it's not going to be suitable for all projects. As I found with the Calm Down cardigan, there wasn't enough structure in that yarn for that, and the yarn didn't pair well with the pattern. Another pattern that I will definitely make, again, the Calm Down cardigan. Really enjoyed the process of that, but it just wasn't, the two together wasn't working, and I don't want to get to the end of that with that really luxurious yarn, you know, and be disappointed in what I've done. So it's just about finding the right pattern for that Isle yarn, and it'll be very nice. It's a DK weight. It's a lovely soft yarn. And I've got some acquisitions to show you. And also I wanted just to do a little update on the yarns out. Now, I know the Avenue T was frogged and reknit, but when I'm tracking my outs and what I'm knitting out weight wise, my reason for tracking that for my records is to know how much I've knit in a 12-month period and then how much I've brought in. And it's to kind of gauge for me how much stash I've brought in compared to how much I've knit, basically. So I'm not here looking for an in-out, balancing correctly and to know how much I've got in stash, because in terms of how much stash I have in my cupboard, there's two factors that bother me about that, or affect my decisions in relation to that, as it were. And to be fair, the Woolly Worker's done a few videos recently, so go and have a look, because I always love her videos. And she was doing one and she was talking about stash, and I think it's in the one where she talks about the summer knitting plans that she's got. Some lovely patterns that she's mentioned on there that are also on my list. But she was talking about the fact that there's some stuff that she'd bought last year that she wouldn't necessarily, they were a 10 out of 10 sort of for her last year, and they're not this year. They'd be an 8 out of 10. She still likes them, but her tastes have changed, or trends have changed. And I felt that resonated with me, and it made me think of, you know, I've ended up with quite a large stash, and then when I look back at some of my earlier purchases and what's in my stash, I'm not drawn to those yarns. And it does make you think that having a small, that is definitely a plus side of having a much smaller stash and purchasing more, you know, for the next few garments. Whether we could ever resist all the temptations, I don't think it's possible, but it just made me think about it. And also, I only have a certain amount of storage space there, and I don't want to outgrow it. That's another thing that's a factor in my stash that's personal to me. But that being said, the reason that I track the ins and outs is not to know how much I've got in that cupboard. I do like, from time to time, looking at how much is there grams wise, and then figuring out how long it, and then thinking, well, how long is it going to take me to knit through that? But I only know that based on what I've done in the last 12 months, how much I've knitted. And that is why, even if a yarn is frogged and used again, I will still track it on here, because I've still physically knit that again. And so to me, I'm getting a monthly or a yearly figure for how much I can knit through in that time. And that then tells me, based on the grams that I've got in stash, how much I'm likely to knit through in the next 12 months. That's the information that I like having. So, and it's unique to you. It's what works for you, isn't it, when recording stash ins and outs and what's going on. So, I had in, and I will show it you now, 200 grams. And it is this absolutely stunning yarn from Chromatic yarns, and it's from the Afternoon Tea collection. There were so many in that collection that I would have liked. This is the Macrons colourway, and here it is. And I got 2 skeins of this, and it's the merino sock. That's 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. I'm hoping to make some sort of summer top with this. Could have potentially been this, but I'm not sure that's the right choice, with it being a heavily variegated yarn. And I just need to have a think about what I want to make with it. But yeah, I was so excited to receive it, and it's even better in person than I thought it would be. She had quite a few in that collection that I was drawn to, but I was very good and just ordered the 2 skeins for a top. And then, yeah, I've just put my Avenue tee on here for my outs. So I am counting this, even though it's a frogged and knit again, like I've just said. And this was 215 grams. So that's a grand total so far. Well, so far, that was for May, sorry. And so I am negative 15 grams. I have noticed I've not been knitting as fast recently. I've been working a lot more. I've been busier, so that's what's what's going on there, but I am just sticking with knitting on what brings me joy. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun doing the beginner knitting videos. People seem to be enjoying them, which is really nice. And yeah, I think that's everything I've got. Oh, just before I go, I will say, because I haven't mentioned it so far in the video, if you do want to get in touch with me, you can email me, and it's mariesjarnjourney@outlook.com. Or you can get in touch on Discord, and it would be really lovely if you'd come over to Discord. Same for any of you beginner knitters, or for any knitters, or anyone who wants to come and have a chat and show all your works in progress, because that is the really fun thing about the knitting hobby, is sharing what you're doing and what I'm doing. And it's a real pleasure to see those pictures over there. And I'm also on Instagram if you don't want to use Discord, and feel free to reach out to me if you want to. Although I'm not as active on there, I don't often post all the time, but I do normally put up when my new videos are out. And if you do want to support the channel, you can do that. I have a Ko-fi account where you can buy me a coffee. I do like to go out for a nice coffee every now and again. And also I have a pattern wish list on Ravelry. And I think that's everything for today. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. If you've lasted to the end in this very disjointed and all over the place video, thank you so much. I very much appreciate you. And yeah, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your knitting, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.